All right, so we're going to start down on our backs, but just make sure you have a set of your weights handy for when we go down after we warm up a little bit. And because a lot of us, I feel like we're working from home, we're on our phones a lot, checking the news, and we might have a little like text neck thing going on. So we're just going to start by maybe relieving a little bit of that. So to do that, I'm going to take my 2 blocks and kind of put them, you guys can't really see from there, but put them kind of at a diagonal. They're basically going to support my shoulder blades here. So, and here's where, if you don't have blocks, because not everybody has 2 yoga blocks at home, you can just kind of roll up a pillow or a blanket kind of the same way. You would just need 2 of them. So then what we're going to do, you have to adjust it as you come down. So come down so that your shoulder blades rest on top of your blocks or pillows, and then just let your neck, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Just let your neck hang back. So it's supported on the floor, but you're getting that nice little, kind of the opposite of chin to chest here, which we normally do with our phones. And then you can just let your arms straight down, kind of shimmy them around the blocks off to the side. And then as far as your knees go, you can keep them bent. That might feel a little bit better on your lower back, or if you like to, you can extend them all the way out. Yogi's choice. And so we'll just start here, giving our neck a little break, and coming into some deeper breaths. And a lot of times when you first get on the mat, your mind may be wandering around a lot. So sometimes it helps to, as you lengthen out your breath, just go ahead and count to yourself a 3 or 4 count breath. It just gives you something to focus on. So as you're inhaling 1, 2, 3, and exhaling 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, and exhaling 3, 2, 1. Just keep that going back and forth. Again, your own breath rhythm, whatever feels good for you. But 3 counts a little too much right now, that's fine. Just begin to focus on that belly, letting that breath begin there, letting the belly expand like you have a balloon there. You're filling that balloon up with air. Your ribs have to float out to the side and make room for that balloon. And then your chest may lift a little bit at the end. And as you exhale, everything reverses. That balloon deflates all the way down your navel, just draws into the chest. Few more breaths here. Inhaling nice and deep. And exhaling all the air out. And then last round. And let it all go. All right, so at this point, bend your knees, and we're going to just gently remove whatever is underneath your shoulder blades. Set that off to the side. All right. And then we're going to go right into just warming ourselves up here. So just keep your feet about hips distance apart, ankles under the knees. And we're just going to start by inhaling our arms up to the ceiling and then reaching them overhead behind. And then reverse inhale up and exhale lower. And then we'll take that a little bit faster. Inhale, reach up and over. And exhale, reaching back to the hips. 2 more times. Inhale, Just waking up those shoulders. Exhale, and back to the hips. Last time. And bring it back. All right, this time we're going to keep the arms the same, and then we're going to add the hips. So we're just going to go into some dynamic bridges. So begin to press your heels into the floor, curl up the tailbone, and then inhale, lift the hips and reach the arms up overhead. So lifting the hips up to the sky, make that nice long line from the knees all the way through the chest, and then exhale, lower everything back down. And we'll keep flowing here. Inhale, lift the hips, reach up and over. Keep that chin lifting up towards the sky. Exhale, lower. And so you can take this at your own rhythm. If you want to take it a little bit faster, a little bit slower, that's fine. Just really make sure you're activating those glutes as you lift up. And lower down. So curl up that tailbone and lift. Exhale, lower. A few more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, top of the bridge. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Let's take one more for good measure. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower down. Okay. So now we're going to grab a set of our weights. So I'm going to grab my 5s here. So we're just going to take a shoulder press right here from the floor. So bend your elbows and kind of take your elbows out about 45 degrees. So if you think about if we were flipped over doing push-up position, that's kind of the position that our arms are going to be. And so as you inhale, press the weights up, turn your palms away from you, and then lower back to your starting position. It's a nice little shoulder press here. And just make sure you're breathing with each movement. I don't really care if you're breathing in or out as you press up. You can take yogi's choice there, just as long as you're breathing with each movement and certainly not holding your breath. And certainly if you had heavier weights here, that would probably work for you here too as well. If your weights are a little bit lighter and you feel like you could use some more, just kind of slow your movement down. It'll actually make you work a little bit harder, even with those lighter weights. And let's take 2 more. And then set your weights down. And then we're gotta get the abs into the action here. So we're gonna take some dead bugs. So bend your knees, bring your shins parallel to the floor. Press your lower back into the mat here, so you're turning on those abs, and then reach your arms straight up to the sky. So in my opinion, this takes a little coordination, and when I'm talking and doing it, I tend to screw up, so we are going to reach that left leg straight out in front, and then reach the right arm back behind, and then bring it back to the starting position and switch arm and leg. So, just back and forth, and pressing that lower back into the floor here. Keep that core nice and engaged. Hopefully you guys can't hear my hip popping here. This is the one movement always pops. unfortunately, I can't play my yoga music over Facebook Live, so hopefully you guys have some nice relaxing music maybe turned on in the background. All right, let's take 2 more on each side or even out wherever you are. All right, and then let those feet float back down to the earth. So we're just gonna run through that one more time, and then I promise we will get up off the floor. So, okay, so we're gonna start back to our glute bridges here. So make sure your ankles are under your knees, about hip distance apart. And then press those heels into the ground, curl up the tailbone, and then lift the hips. Arms reach up and back. And lower. We get nice full breaths here with each movement. And if your hips are feeling really tight, don't worry about getting full on up into, that perfect extension of the bridge. Just, use whatever your range of motion is here tonight. When you start to feel that restriction, you can pause there. We're looking for sensation and effort, but not pain. So if we're feeling pain, we should be backing away from that. I don't know why, but I feel like I keep sliding off of this mat. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. All right, let's take 2 more of these. Remember to keep that chin pointing up to the sky. And lower down. All right, then we'll go back to our shoulder press. And again, if you feel like you want to switch out your weights this time, different weight, feel free. So again, 45-degree angles, bend elbows, and then press up to the sky, turn those palms forward, and then rotate back as you come back down to your starting position. Press up. The lower back presses into the mat here. And if your weights feel light, just making the movement a little bit slower, maybe a little bit more mindful. And be surprised what that can do. All right, let's take 2 more. And 1. And down. And the last round of dead bugs. Shins parallel. Again, lower back pressing into the earth here. Reach the arms overhead. And then left leg reaches right, arm reaches behind. Back to starting. Keep those abs engaged. Press that lower back into the floor. And still breathing. I'm still popping in the hip here. Hopefully you can't hear that. Few more rounds. All right, 1 more on each side, even it out wherever you are. And then hug those knees into the chest. Maybe give yourself a little rock side to side. All right, then come back to stillness. Let's take the hands behind the hips. We're gonna rock and roll. You guys know this one. Forward and back along the spine, tailbone up through the shoulders here. Oh, that feels good. Nice massage in the back. And then whenever you're ready, cross with the ankles and come forward. or if that was no fun, just roll off to the side and come up to seated. And we're actually going to go ahead and come forward onto hands and knees. Maybe move your weights up to the front of your mat if they're not already there. So we're just going to do a cat-cow variation, and then promise we're going to be standing soon. Okay, so from your typical tabletop, wrists under the shoulders, knees hip distance apart, you're just going to extend your right leg out to the side, your toes pointing forward. So you might feel a nice little stretch in that inner thigh, or at least I do. And then we're just going to do cat-cow from here, so a little twist on our normal cat-cow. So as we inhale, lift that tailbone, a little arch in the back. We'll look forward. And then exhale, spread those shoulder blades around that back. And then back through center, inhale, cow, lift the tail. And exhale, round it out. Press the earth away. Few more rounds on this side. And then back to neutral. Bring that right leg in. Switch out, left leg extends. And you just reset, make sure you're still centered from that starting position. And then inhale, lift the tailbone, look forward. Exhale, press into the mat. Spread the shoulder blades around the back. And then inhale back to that lift. Exhale, draw that navel all the way up to the spine, round, round, round. A few more times. And then back through center. And bring that leg in. All right. So from here, step your feet back to plank pose. Press back through the heels here. You can feel that nice little stretch in the calves. You can always come to your knees here. Just kind of really press those hands into the ground, little rounding through the shoulder blades. Engage that whole core here, including the glutes and include the legs. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, we'll find our first downward facing dog. Take your hips up and back. Bend the knees as much as you need to. And maybe just pedal the feet here. Bend alternate knees. Stretch out the back of those legs. All right, inhale up onto the tippy toes. Exhale, take the heels down. Bend the knees deeply, look forward. Baby steps, front of the mat. And when we get up here, we're just gonna put a deep bend in the knees and fold forward, Uttanasana. Let your head hang long, or your neck hang long. Your head just gets nice and heavy. And then hands to the shins or the thighs, inhale halfway up. Just find that long neutral spine. And then exhale, fold. And then bend your knees. We're going to grab a set of weights here. Actually, try my threes here this time. And just inhale, press up to mountain. Just leaving your hands at your sides. All right. So now we're really going to get moving here. You guys are getting anxious. Okay, so we're going to start by just leaving our hands on our sides. We're going to squat down like we're coming into chair pose. So a lot of that weight's in the heels here. And then as we inhale, we're going to lift our right leg and press the weights, up into a V. So you can kind of see I'm coming up into a V position. And then back down to chair, and then up, opposite leg, and back down. I like to inhale as I press up. That's just me. But again, yogi's choice. And if you're not feeling like you have a lot of balance today, you can either just stay in chair or just come up and down, almost like doing mini squats here. You can add a bicep curl, you can do whatever works for you. You have that license from me to do what your body is looking for. All right, let's take 2 each side. The last one. All right, then come back to mountain here. And we're going to step back with our left leg and take crescent pose here. So you may want to bend your left leg, your left knee a little bit here, just to make sure that your shoulders and ribs stack over your hips here. And then from here, we're just going to drop our left knee straight down to the floor, waking up those legs. If this doesn't feel good, feel free to just hold in that crescent pose. The knee straight down. Take 2 more. And then hold in crescent. Nice. And then we're going to shift into warrior 2. So just kind of lift up through your hips, plant that left heel down. I'm going to switch sides so you don't see my back. And so just bending your right knee here. Your left foot is just parallel with the back of your mat. And that bent knee is basically directing out over your middle toe. Your knee is about over your ankle. Doesn't have to be perfect science there. And then we're just going to add some lateral raises. So inhale, lift out to the side, and lower. And I like to make these a little slower. I just feel like it activates a little bit more. And lower. And as you're raising up to the side, maybe just feel like your thumbs are pointing a little bit up towards the ceiling as opposed to the floor. Keep that knee bent if you can. And again, if you need to switch out weights or get rid of them altogether, feel free. Let's take 2 more. All right. So then if we can, we're going to keep our leg bent. We're going to come into cactus arms here. So bending at the elbows 90 degrees. And we're just going to basically take our right elbow towards our right thigh, but probably won't touch down there unless you're hyper flexible. So just point that elbow towards the thigh, back to your starting position. Just make sure you're really connecting through your foundation and your feet here. Staying nice and stable. Shouldn't see the legs or the hips really moving. It's just that upper body. I'm getting warm. I don't know about you guys. Let's take 2 more. Keep that knee bent. Make sure it's not collapsing forward or in. All right. I don't think that was 3 more. All right. Then let's bring the arms down. Let's just let that left hand slide back down the left leg and reach your right arm up to the sky. Just a little counter stretch here. And then you can inhale, straighten that right leg 2, reverse triangle. And then exhale, bring the arm down. Bend the knees as you turn the toes forward. So now you're just looking at the long edge of your mat here. Your toes and heels are parallel to each other, so basically in a nice straight line. And we're gonna add some rows here. So just bring your arms in forward. Really, again, always connecting through your feet, your foundation. We're gonna hinge at the hips and come forward. So basically my back is turned to the side, parallel to the ground here. And then we're just, and if it feels better to kind of put a little micro bend in the knees, feel free. And we're just gonna add a row. So draw those weights in towards your ribs. And if you like to add a little rotation, weights as you come down, your knuckles are facing towards the front of your mat, and then rotate and pull them up so your knuckles are to the side as you pull the weights up. Again, you may feel you can take up a heavier weight here. That's the problem with switching between some of these exercises. Some you really want to switch out your weight, so feel free. Put down the weights, switch up. Let's take 2 more. All right, and then pressing into both feet, gently come back up. Okay, turn back so you can see me. All right, and then let's just turn back towards what was the front of your mat. So right toes back to the right, and then go ahead and pivot, turn that both your hips so you're squaring to the front of the mat. And just bring the shoulders into the chest. So you're in crescent pose here, just inhale, press the weights up to the sky just for 1 breath here. And then exhale, bring the weights down. Pivot yourself forward, gently bring those weights down to the ground, set them off to the side, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Hold in your plank, just for a couple breaths. And then let's go ahead and lower down. So you can lower straight down or drop to the knees, and just let those elbows come close into your thighs as you lower down, release the toes. And then just a little cobra here. Shoulders drift back from the ears. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, release down. Press up and back through the knees, tuck the toes, and find your downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Either stay still, or if you like pedaling those feet, feel free to pedal the feet out. Maybe shake your head yes and no. Make sure you're loosening all that tension there from that text neck. Inhale up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower the heels. Bend the knees deeply, look forward. And walk, step, or hop, front of the mat. And we'll inhale halfway up. So hands on the shins or the thighs, long neutral spine. And exhale, fold. And again, bend your knees. Grab the set of weights that you would like. And inhale, just come up to standing. So now we're going to go back to our chair pose with the V lifts. So exhale, sink down into chair. And then inhale, lift a knee, press up into the V, exhale down. Come back into that chair. So again, take this as slowly as you need to. If you're working on your balance, slow it down. Make sure you really plant and ground through those feet. As you come down through chair, shift the weight. Engage those abs as you lift that knee up. Or of course, modify as needed. Maybe you just forget about the arms, work on the legs. Few more. You guys got this. Wish I could see you, but I'm sure you've got this. All right, last one. And down. Okay. Or come back to standing, and then we're gonna step back with our right leg this time. Big step back. Maybe bending that right knee a little bit. Get your shoulders and ribs to stack over those hips. Nice bend in the left knee. And you're welcome to just stay here. Feel that nice stretch in that hip flexor and that psoas. Or drop that right knee right to the floor. And just keep an eye on that front knee as you're going up and down, but it's not kind of moving too much side to side, collapsing in. Should be roughly staying over your ankle. Again, it doesn't have to be an exact science. Let's take 3 more. All right, then hold in your crescent pose, press back through that right heel. All right, and then inhale, lift up through your hips, plant that right heel down, and that left knee, warrior 2. So your hips are squaring, if I didn't say this before, toward the long side of your mat here, and so are your shoulders. And then we'll take our arms down to our sides here, and then we'll add that lateral raise. So inhale and exhale. Inhale. Again, maybe those thumbs point just slightly up to the ceiling when you get to the top of that raise, and lower. And I don't like to take them beyond shoulder height. And again, if you're feeling like your weights are like, oh, maybe they're a little light, just slow that movement down. Promise you will feel it a little bit more. That momentum really can carry you a little bit. All right, let's take 2 more. And down. All right. Try and keep that left knee bent. Come up into your cactus arms. Again, we're squaring towards that long end of the mat. And then we're going to take that left elbow down towards our left thigh. Doesn't have to come all the way down. And back up. Lower body nice and strong. You might find, like I do, that I can get down a lot further on one side than the other. Let's take 2 more. All right, come back up, let the arms go. Right arm just travels down, loosey-goosey, down the right leg. Reach that left arm up to the sky, just a little tilt back so you feel a nice little stretch in that left side body. And inhale, straighten that left leg. You finally get a break. And then exhale, back to center. And then let's turn the toes in. So toes and heels are parallel, and we're going to go back to our rows. So weights come in front, really connect and ground your feet through the floor, hinge your hips, come forward. And your palms are facing each other here, or for that rotation, knuckles face away from you. And then inhale, rotate the weight and bring them up into your chest. So when you get to your chest, your palms are back facing you. And again, you can kind of play with this a little bit. If it feels better to bend your knees a little bit, feel free. Or if you feel any kind of ickiness in that lower back, maybe come up Take a little bit more of a modified row. And make sure keep those elbows in nice and tight. Bring those weights right up alongside the ribs. All right, last one. All right, really press those feet into the floor and then pivot back up to standing. And turn those left toes to the left. Come up onto the ball of the right foot. So you're back to crescent pose. Weights come to the tops of the shoulders. And inhale, press it up. Exhale, take it down. Okay, engage the core, pivot a little bit forward so you can begin to come all the way down to the ground. Release the weights, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. And then lower all the way down. Elbows come in nice and tight. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. And press up and back. Let's just take a child's pose here for a moment. Just let your hips sink into your heels. Forehead comes to the floor, maybe stacked forearms or a block. Just a couple breaths here. Let's reconnect. Coming back to our breath, if maybe we've lost that. All right, a little bit more ab work. So I want you guys from your child to snake forward. Bring the hips down, come onto forearms. So plant your palms on the ground. Your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. And then we're going to tuck our toes, begin to engage that core, and then you're going to lift the hips up to your forearm plank. So you can hold here. If you want a little bit more, reach your left arm out in front, tap off the mat and back to center. And reach the right off and back to center. So the idea here too is to not sway too much left and right. See, I'm really swaying a little bit more than I would like right now. Of course, I have weights in the way and back. So if this is too much, take out the taps, or you can always bring those knees to the floor, and then you might feel like, now I can add the tap. Just make sure you keep that core engaged, protecting your back. All right, let's take a rest there. Knees come down if they're not already there. And let it go. Inhale, little baby cobra. Exhale, release. All right, let's inhale up and back. Walk your hands back so that you come into kneeling. We're just going to do one more little thing with the arms, and then we'll begin to cool it down. So, take a set of your weights. I'm going to face you guys. I think that'll be a little bit easier. And we're going to come up onto our knees. So if you have sensitive knees, roll up your mat, or maybe a little blanket underneath the knees, or pillow, whatever you guys have. We'll come up into kneeling, so that kind of forces us to turn on the glutes, turn on the abs to keep us upright here. And then we're going to add some arm work. So, all right. So we are going to bend the elbows, palms facing each other, and take them out to the side, and then external rotation up to the ceiling. And arms back to parallel and draw it in. So that's it. See, to be nice and solid in that lower body. And if you need to switch weights, feel free. Sometimes it's External rotation can be a little challenging. So here again, elbows not above the shoulder, and then rotate up, palms facing forward. Back down, bring it in. Oh, I feel like this is always good too when I've been on the phone a lot. Few more rounds. Last round. All right. Go ahead and sink those hips into the heels. You can set your weights off to the side. Doing good on time here. Oh, and we have a visitor, everybody. Gunner, hello. Can you be calm? All right, so come down into seated position. And if this is a little uncomfortable for you, feel free to kind of prop yourself up on pillow or blocks or whatever you have. Getting the lift up helps a lot of the time. And then we're just going to stretch out our arms a little bit with eagle arms. So take our arms out to the side and then bring right arm underneath the left and see if you can bring the backs of the hands together. So this is one option. If you can bring the palms together, that's another option. If either of these are a no-go, just take opposite shoulders with the hands. So if you do have the bind, and bring those elbows up to about shoulder height, maybe press the thumbs so not too super close to your nose, take them away. Really feel your backs of your shoulder blades kind of spreading apart. Close the door again. And of course, breathe, make sure we're not holding our breath here. This one. And then unwind, inhale your arms overhead. And exhale, let it go. All right. And then we'll switch the direction there. So inhale your arms out to shoulder height. This time left arm comes underneath the right. Maybe the backs of the hands touch, maybe palms come together, or maybe on this side, just opposite shoulders. And then inhale and breathe. Feel those shoulder blades spreading apart in the back. You can kind of squeeze those elbows together. Press them into each other. And then unwind, inhale your arms overhead. And exhale, release. All right. So now we're going to just come into a seated twist. I personally don't like the blanket for this, but again, if it feels better for you, feel free. So let's start by extending our legs out in front. And we're just going to bend our left knee, cross it over the right thigh, and just start by hugging that thigh into the chest. Make sure you can sit up nice and tall here. If you can't sit up nice and tall, then you might want to take that leg, that foot out a little bit further. So this is option one, just hold it here. Draw that left knee into the chest. If you feel like you want a little bit more here, you can bend that bottom leg and just bring that right foot towards your left hip. Just make sure you can kind of work both sit bones back to the ground. Hug that left knee in. And again, you can stay here, or we can add a little twist. So your left hand can come behind you on the floor. When you inhale, gently twist over to the left. If you like, you can kind of hook your right elbow inside or outside the knee. Either way, try not to kind of torque the spine, just twist as much as your obliques kind of take you. And then you're just inhaling length into that spine. You're still sitting up nice and tall. On your exhale, you may find you can twist a little deeper, or you stay right where you are. Inhale, unwind, extend the legs. And bend the right knee. Cross it over the left thigh. And sitting up nice and tall, sit bones grounded, shoulders over the ribs and the hips. Hug that right knee in. If you feel like you can do a little more, bend that bottom leg. Left foot comes into the right hip. And work those sit bones down back to the ground if they popped up. Hug that right knee into the chest. Nice little stretch in that glute. Stay here. This is already nice and meaty stretch. If you want more, right hand comes to the floor behind you. Draw your belly in and up. Twist over to the right. Maybe you hook it a little bit with that left elbow on the knee. Inhale, length through the spine. Exhale, maybe a little bit deeper twist. All right, gently unwind. And yeah, let's go ahead and come down onto our back. So come down with bent knees, gently make your way down here. And we'll start with a little Apanasana. Draw the right knee into the chest. If it's comfortable for you, you can keep the left knee bent, or you can extend it all the way out. Flex both feet and just draw that right knee up along the ribs. Nice deep breaths. And then release the right knee. Extend the leg all the way down. Inhale, bring that left knee in towards the chest. Flex both feet. Yeah, if it feels better for you to keep a little bend in the right leg, that's fine. And if you can, inhale, draw that left knee up along the ribs a little deeper. And then inhale, both knees into the chest. Let's take the hands on the knees. Make little circles on your ceiling, the knees circling to the right. Nice little massage of that lower back. And then stopping in the center, reverse circles to the left. And back to center. All right, we'll take one last pose. So just take a nice happy baby here. So separate the knees nice and wide. And then stack your feet, like almost like you're doing a yogi squat on the ceiling here. So your knees are bent, your ankles are over your knees. And then if you can, hands come to, maybe it's the backs of the thighs, the backs of the calves. If you can reach all the way out to grab the outsides of your feet, And then grab the feet. And if you have the feet, then you can play a little bit with pulling those feet towards the floor, so activating there, and then the feet actually resist away. That's going to take your sacrum, the base of your spine, really nice and flat against the mat. Then from there, if you rock your baby side to side, feels really good on your lower back. Or maybe it doesn't feel good on your lower back, in which case you should not be doing this. Is find something else. Shouldn't assume that this feels good for everybody, because everybody is different. But again, if you can't get the feet, backs of the calves, you can still rock that side to side, or even just those thighs. Just try and keep those knees nice and wide, the ankles nice and wide, side to side. And then whenever you're ready, you can draw those knees back in, give yourself one more little hug, and then exhale, release. Gently stretch the feet out, and you can come into Shavasana if you have the time. So you let your feet kind of separate, let the toes fall out to the sides of the mat. Take your shoulders down the mat, away from the ears, palms facing up to the ceiling. Chin just a little lifted here. Let the eyes close. Just feel the back of your body connect with the mat. Get nice and heavy. Coming back into your breath. And if your mind keeps wandering off to other things, just bring it back, just focusing on that breath. It can be our anchor, not just in yoga class, but as we're kind of going out and doing anything in our lives. Sometimes we just need that anchor to bring us back. So you can stay here as long as you like. Hopefully you can take a little bit more time for yourself. Let the practice sink in. Really just enjoy the aftermath of all your effort here. And just whenever you are ready to come out, just making sure you just bend your knees and roll off to one side. Maybe pausing here for a few breaths. And then gently coming back up to seated. Just take it slow before you begin to rise and get on with the rest of your evening. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to leave me feedback in the comments or anything you guys want to do maybe in a future class. It looks like we'll be here for doing this for a little bit longer till we see that the cases start to come down. So yeah. All right, you guys. Let's do this again soon. I miss you all. Can't wait to see you.